Welcome to Order Militaris Radio TV, we're lifelong Catholics, and we'll do is all for free and for our love of Jesus Christ and for our Holy Mother, the Church. We'll defend our Holy Mother, the Church. Today we're going to be talking about the ongoing disaster in Artsakh, in the blockade of the Latvian corridor, and what is going to happen to the Armenians in Artsakh. And we're with Brother Alexis Bonello.
Thank you, AJ, for having me on Order Militaris Radio TV. For our order, this is a very sad and troubling event. We might be in the moment of history we're about to see 160,000 Christians genocided while the powers of the world stand on and do nothing. So this is a program to bring awareness to the whole world. So first, AJ, what part of the world are we talking about, and what are the nations involved?
So we're talking about Armenia, Artsakh, and Azerbaijan. So almost the near Middle East of Europe, almost. It almost connects to the Middle East.
Okay, so this is a South Caucasus. Armenia is the oldest Christian state. The whole people converted to Christianity before Constantine passed the Edict of Milan legalizing Christianity in the Roman Empire. The Armenian state became a Christian state and had kept the Christian faith 1700 years, persecuted on all sides. And the Armenians once ruled vast territories in what is now eastern Turkey or northern Iraq. And one of the ancient heartlands of their land is this region called Artsakh, which became a republic, an independent republic after the Armenian-Azerbaijan War. And Azerbaijan is a modern state that was created in 1918 by the Soviets. It never previously existed. And it's populated by the Azeris, which is a Turkish tribe that have infiltrated into the area of the centuries and taken over the land on the Caspian Sea. And the Azeris, like all Turkish tribes, have a culture of genociding the enemies. They're very primitive, a vicious approach to any other ethnic group, and they've done this even to Muslims. And they have been pounding on the doors. They participated with the Turks in the Armenian genocide at the end of the Second World War, which killed more than 1.3 or 1.4 million Christians, and no one in the West did anything about it. And still to this day, many countries deny it existed. So we have seen a recent war in 2020, Azerbaijan against Armenia or Artsakh. And what was that war about, and what was Azerbaijan's objective?
It was to get into this area near the Latvian corridor so they can get to where the minerals are of gold, silver, and copper.
Does this also have to do with their project of trying to build a pipeline from Baku down to the port of Tarsus in Turkey?
Yeah.
Along the Iranian border. So they need to take this land from, I think. And Azerbaijan, is it a democracy or a dictatorship?
Dictatorship.
And what are some of the atrocities they committed in that war and have committed since against Christians?
They have, when they get into taking territory from Armenians in Artsakh, they have cut the ears off of an elderly Armenian. When they take prisoners, they're known to crucify them, behead them, or both.
And if they take women prisoners, what do they do with the women?
They rape them, to pluck out their eyeballs with their knives put in stones, carve on their bodies, then put their fingers in the female genitalia.
And what have they done to the Armenian settlements in Artsakh since they, uh, in this illegal war, took the territory in the first war, about a third of the territory? How have they treated the Armenians?
Not good. They cut them off from some of the most ancient monasteries that are still have monks and priests in them. Then they also have taken and damaged the great cathedral in Shushi. And then some of the most ancient churches they have completely erased.
This is a standard tactic of Turkish and Islamic culture to obliterate the history of Christians, to claim that you were there first. So why is it that other countries around the world haven't done anything since 2020? What kind of influence does the Azerbaijani dictator Aliyev have over them?
He uses that oil money that he has because of the oil in Baku. He has paid judges, parliamentarian people in Europe, United Nations, even American politicians.
Now, the current crisis in Artsakh has to do with the fact that the Armenian government betrayed their own people in Artsakh. What had happened? And
So we reported on it, I think it was like a month ago, and Nickel Pashin and the Turkish dictator, the Azerbaijani dictator, and Macron and some other idiots sat down to a meeting and they agreed to hand over this area of Artsakh and to go back to the old Soviet Union borders where Azerbaijan controls Artsakh and everything.
now, does the Armenian, any of these governments have any authority to hand over Artsakh?
No,
Why? Is it an independent state?
they are an independent republic.
So now the present crisis, I heard something about turning off gas, blocking roads. What's been going on this fall? We're ready to enter wintertime. What are all the tactics that the Azerbaijani dictator is using against the Armenians who still live in Artsakh?
So it started 8 days ago when the Azerbaijani media wanted to go into Artsakh, the capital of Stefankert, just to start laying the groundwork so they can infiltrate different parts of the area. Now, I am impressed, even though Russia and Azerbaijan are allies. The Russian peacekeepers are actually doing actual good things. They stopped the Azerbaijani press from entering into the area numerous times. They pushed them back and they set up blockades to stop Azerbaijan's entrance into Stefankert and other areas. And so after the Azerbaijani fake media failed to get entrance into Stefankert and other areas of Artsakh, they called in so-called what was deemed environmentalists, but these were intelligence operators acting like environmentalists and not in the different Armenian government officials and even I think some American officials help identify these guys, gals as who they really are. And then all of a sudden, the Azerbaijani special forces, which are the death squads who go around and butcher the Armenians in the in the 44-day Artsakh War, showed up in plain clothes just to, start getting agitated on the Russians and stuff. And then all of a sudden, here comes the Azerbaijani police, and then the Azerbaijani special forces in their military gear, and they came goose stepping into the Lachin corridor.
Now, is the Lachin corridor an occupied part of Artsakh, or is it actually an unoccupied? Is it still belong to Artsakh, Armenia?
It belongs to Artsakh.
Was it conquered by our Azerbaijan in the recent war in 2020, or in this fall? No. So it's actually an innovation. Now, what does this to do with gas being turned off and supply roads being shut down? Or
So the Lachin corridor road is the only road in and out of Artsakh to Armenia. That is how they get their food, medicine, can transfer any hospital patients that need the proper care that's in Armenia or Yerevan. And so with the Azerbaijanis blocking the road, they also cut off the gas, which lasted for about 2 weeks. But thankfully, the international pressure was so great, they had to turn it back on. And so,
still, in those high mountains in 2 weeks, it's pretty darn cold. So now, what is the current status? What's happening in the last 24 hours, 48 hours?
only 2 critical patients could be moved to Yerevan thanks to the Red Cross. No other vehicles could get through. So far, numerous deaths have occurred in the Artsakh hospital, including children, babies. Surgeries have to be postponed because they don't have the medicine and equipment needed to bring it in to do those. And now they just recently published a video by the Artsakh Ombudsman that they are running out of medicine. They're running out of food and basics, bread, fruit, vegetables, cheeses. And some of the folks I follow from Artsakh, they can't get medicine for their aunts, grandmas who are like need the blood sugar medicine, penicillin and stuff. They can't get it, and they can't fly it in because Azerbaijan will shoot down any sort of
Now, how many Armenian Christians are in Artsakh?
between 120,000 and 160,000.
And aren't they armed? Why are they doing nothing about this?
Oh, they're armed. They haven't relinquished their army. And the new members of the government have said we'll fight to the last person.
But so far, they haven't begun hostilities with the Azerbaijanis.
Mm.
So, are anyone on the international level appealing or making some appeal around the world? Who's trying to raise interest about this? What are the groups?
Uh, the English lady Baroness Cox, who has done all she can do in the English Parliament. Senator Bob Menendez in the Armenian faction in the Congress. That's it.
What is Artsakh specifically seeking or asking? What kind of intervention do they want?
To open up the road, to get in food, medicine, all the supplies they need, and to transfer those who need proper medical care, since this has happened, to Yerevan and other hospitals to get him taken care of.
Now, if anyone wants to do what they can to help, will you put in the show page some links to the groups that are trying to do something?
Yeah, so I put the link in the show page on the Armenian Food Bank Charity Fund. They're working to raise donations for food, warm clothes, and other products because they can get into Artsakh by other means.
And AJ, since your family is related to some of the princely families of Armenia in the Middle Ages, what's your hopes, your prayers for the Armenian people?
That they can survive this winter, that they won't take it sitting down, that they won't fight a normal battle against the Azerbaijanis, but do what they've done in the past by using the mountains and the forests as their friends to kick some Azerbaijani butt.
And what is Azerbaijan's biggest source of revenue? How could they be hurt economically by sanctions, and who could do that?
Well, they can. The family. It's all about the oil. If governments can sanction the oil of the Gazprom and others, and in their subsidiary in Baku, and start putting hurt on the oil, they can start maybe putting a crimp on the pocketbooks of the dictator in chief of Azerbaijan.
Okay, thank you, AJ, for this report about Artsakh and the impending genocide of the Armenian people. It's pretty clear that Aliyev is trying the slow approach so that he doesn't spark an international reaction, but his objection is the total ethnic cleansing of the Armenian people in this region, which would add nothing really economically to Azerbaijan in comparison to its income, but is just done surely out of political hatred for Christian people, and as a way to give his people some reason to respect him when he doesn't reserve any respect at all. So thank you for having me on for this program.
Yep. This is Autumn Military Studio TV signing off. Deus Volt.
Deus Volt.